And speaking of California, speaking of California, Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube Jr., he did an interview. While we're on the topic of AEW as well, he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet.
Oh, I saw it. I watched it this morning.
I didn't watch it in full yet. I was busy getting some writing done, but there is clips of it, and he basically, everybody melted down over what he had to say. Do you think he's snooping? We're talking off pod about Snoop Dogg snooping. Marty just dropped that on me.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. I'm saying maybe. I have no idea. He seemed like he had all his devices together, but from what he's saying, because I've had some exchanges with him on X, and we know some mutual people, and I just see the shit that he gets, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn, okay. If I actually had the platform or the notoriety, it's like everything I say is just going to be misconstrued and attacked.
Oh, of
It's kind of
course, dude. Yeah, I mean, fuck. We all get it. You know, I have 1,000 followers. I get that shit all the time too. Like,
Mhm.
it's crazy. But
Oh,
this is what. Oh, go ahead.
I've seen
Oh,
I've
you've
seen people
seen?
give you
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. You know. So I got Sean Ross Sapp listening to this right now. So O'Shea Jackson Jr., he was on Chris Van Vliet, and shout out Chris Van Vliet, man. I think he's the GOAT. He's the best
He's
at,
awesome.
yeah, he's like the GOAT of just like wrestler interviews, you know, and he gets shit too for like, oh, he gave Velveteen Dream a platform. It's like, or did he just interview him? Like we interview Jeffrey Dahmer or Charles Manson or
Oh,
whoever,
I
the
see the
lady who put her
documentaries
kid in the
ever all the
dumpster.
time.
Yeah,
Yep.
we fucking interview all
Selena's
these
Killer is
people.
about to get a show. Like
Yeah.
everybody gets a platform, and I whether agree or not, accusations or not, everybody should get the platform to have their free speech to at least try to exonerate or explain or whatever. Regardless if I
Yeah,
give a shit about what you got to say or not,
exactly.
I'm not going to begrudge someone for giving you the option to speak for yourself.
Yeah, and when we're talking about like serial killers and shit too, it's like that's
Mhm.
a dive into the psyche. Like that's a look for the public into the mind of like a psych. It's like research. It's like history that needs to be documented. But you would think this guy defended Hitler with the
Yeah.
backlash he got just over saying some shit like this. So here, I'll play what he said. This is a 2-minute clip, and
If I'm watching someone on AEW and I ask, who is this guy?
Yo. Before, right when he says that sentence, though, he like smirks almost as if to like he knows he's gonna get shit for just saying this simple little
Oh yeah.
thing. Like he's bracing for it. He's like, motherfucker, I know what I'm about to do, and I'm
Yep.
sorry, but it must be said. You know, we need
Facts.
him. We need him.
If I'm watching someone on AEW and I ask, who is this guy? I don't need you to tell me I'm not a real wrestling fan, to tell me how could you not know such and such who did, who gives a damn? Like, I need you, all right, inform me, bro. Or at least have your programming in a way to let people know why you should love this dude, why you should fuck with this guy. That's something that I feel like is missing. Conan, when I was on his podcast, he brought up, when you watch UFC, and they give you a little backstory about this dude, backstory about that dude, what this guy's had to go through, what he's done, and vice versa. And then they put him in the room and they cuss each other out. And then by watching those videos, you've picked a side of who you're with. That's missing from that. What they have is this niche group of people who watch all of these wrestling shows and they're already in the know. So when they see these names together, it is a dream match for them. But you're trying to sell this to American television, baby. You got to movie that up a little bit. You got to give me some cinema to follow, you know, something to hold on to besides the announce team running down a list for me while this dude's walking down the ramp. And I feel like that's missing. And when you are trying to get involved and trying to really give something a chance, and when you question it even a little bit, and you get 80 no-faced accounts coming at you, at any given time, you're like, man, fuck this noise, bro. Like, I'm cool off of it. If y'all like it, I don't. and I don't want that.
Gotta drop him an air horn. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything he said. No lies detected, and I just feel like that exactly. You got to movie it up, and people want to play that game and go, well, the ratings don't like all this shit, but they do, man. Tony needs to talk about the key demo all the time. He's he wants to
burns
market
out
it
his
to
page match
casuals.
shit and all his stuff all the time. That's all we heard the whole first.
Yeah, he would run. He would just own an indie fed and run an untelevised indie PWG. He'd just buy PWG and do PWG if he just only wanted crazy matches and didn't want to quote unquote compete with the WWE and Vince and everything. So we can't sit there and lie and go, I don't give a fuck how much money they make, because Tony Khan cares about how much money they make. He cares about the TV ratings. He cares about the key demo. He cares about all that shit. And
daddy money, of course he cares.
Yeah, and all Oshea is saying is, brother, listen to this, and this is how you're going to change it around for the mainstream and the casuals, what you're trying to cater the fucking show to. I don't care what anyone has to say. Casuals are the lifeblood of every industry. Period. You cater to casuals. You make shit for your hardcores, or you cater to your hardcores a little bit, but you have to fucking try and expand. And especially if you're in the TV business, and but I don't care how much people watch the show, then why are you even in the TV business? Do you guys not get that? They don't get that shit. These people who make these fucking terrible arguments of like, well, it doesn't matter if the blah, blah, blah. It's just like, but Tony Khan cares. So when you guys go and fight and defend AEW, but you're doing it saying like, well, fuck the numbers and fuck this and that. It's like Tony in his life isn't just saying fuck this and that. He's like stressing out up all night, drinking soda waters, trying to figure out how he's going to fix these fucking problems that you guys go, it aren't problems. And so I don't know, man. Oshea is just speaking facts. What do you think about what he said and my little jibber jabber rant there?
No, not at all. Not at all. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be saying some shit that I was already thinking. That's what made me check out the shit. Like,
okay.
Before we get into it, just to give props to you, like I was watching shit on fucking YouTube, because like there's some people that I'm familiar with, or that I've met or got acquainted with on YouTube, and I check out their shit, and I think randomly, because YouTube will just skip over to the next video. Your show was like one of the first clips that popped up, and I was listening one, then I was listening two, then I was listening to the whole show, and I was like, oh shit, he totally gets. Like, I tweet this and get yelled at, but it's like, oh, he says it on the podcast. This is fucking great.
Yeah, you gotta
props
say
to you
that.
Props to you for that. No, what he was saying is just with the casuals. I have people that like in my family that watch it. Like, wrestling's like a heavy thing. I went to my first show in the womb, like legit. Like my my dad watches it. My mom watches it. I have uncles, aunts, even outside of the family portion of it.
You have relatives who wrestle. High level.
Relatives who wrestle, yeah.
High level, so the highest of the level, literally, yeah.
Highest of the level, and I'm hoping they don't fuck that up. But as long as he gets paid, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But what he was saying was, you have to movie it up. I have casuals. Say all that to say, I have like casuals of people in my life that when they come over, like I had my in-laws come over to like watch WrestleMania. Like my wife's best friend came over to like watch Royal Rumble. And the thing is they're familiar with all the old stuff, but the fact is, it's like, okay, they're getting a video package. They're going to get replays of the past show to understand. You're going to get a 2 to 3 minute, like, bite-sized chunk of content that's going to fill you in to understand, to where you can either care about that person, or at least be engaged in the match. And I literally watch people who haven't watched WWE in years, or get into it's just they'll watch Mania and it's like, who's that guy? Oh, don't worry, they're gonna let you know, and we're gonna see what's happening. And then they're like, oh, okay, so he's this person, or he or she they're the bad guy, or that's what's going on with that. And then just watch how they can easily just slip right back into it and get interested. And then I've also, like, with my wife, like, she was a wrestling fan as a kid, and then I got her back into it, like heavy. Like her and my kids, we just took our kids to SmackDown in Salt Lake when The Rock was there. That was the dopest shit ever.
Oh my
but when
God.
she watches she watches AEW with me sometimes, which she tries to, and the amount of questions I get,
Yeah, my
like
girl's the
outside of
same
them.
way, dude. My
Oh
girl's the
my
same way.
God. Who is this
Yeah,
guy? So wait, does he just do flips? Like, wait, why didn't they sell that? They're supposed to sell that, right?
yeah.
Wait, doesn't that hurt? Or how did he get power drive through this? Like, that's crazy. Why is there so much blood? Or who is this
I
person?
got
Like,
asked why is there what is the story? Why are they fighting? Do they just fight? Did they just fight in AEW? Like they don't like
who is
there's no
this? Okay,
reason to
they're from
fight? Yeah.
Japan.
And I was like,
New
dude,
Japan. She watched Wrestle Kingdom with me. New Japan, like she was able to get an extra, before the pay-per-view start. How they always do like the little intros before, so
yeah.
you can understand like what's going on. And that's not even in English. She's reading the subtitles and gets the
Mhm.
understanding of it. And then you have these people that get on here because it's like you see me tweet it a lot, or people who will check me after this. You'll see I always tweet a goalpost moving because they always move the goalposts. I had to hear about how they were bringing back the casual fan. We can like we're doing the wrestling that people want and we're doing all this. And it's like, no, you're confusing the main audience because you're trying to renew this TV deal. You may not even be on the network that brought you back. And that's what held up the talks with the CW because you wanted to get more money for it. But then again, you weren't really at a place to where you could negotiate. And the person that brought you guys to TNT TBS to Turner isn't even there anymore, which would
Yeah.
make me think if I got brought into a job and it's a pretty sweet fucking job, but the person who brought me in is no longer there anymore, and they're bringing in somebody else that has no rapport with me, doesn't care, and is looking at the bottom line, the bottom dollar. What's going on with that? How do I make it how do I appease the casual audience? Because there's so much you can't so fucking frustrating. You can't cater everything to every person that watches Being the Fucking Elite
I know,
that
dude.
understands all these meta jokes that nobody understands. I wasn't watching it back. Like I used to watch it. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. You only
Yeah,
push
dude.
the same eight people. This person can break into somebody's house and put stuff in their baby's crib, but then now this guy is the bad guy and we're supposed to understand that, or like the women, this person, she the Undertaker now, but the other person is not in
Yeah.
that.
So
And
this
then we
girl's
have
spooky, and then this girl's spooky, and then this girl got black mist. Now she's spooky, but then
yeah,
they
and then
hated each other, but now they're friends again.
exactly, it doesn't go. And then it's like the Young Bucks, it's like these face turns when they're really just heels all the fucking time. And then wait, now they're putting in this, and then Kenny ran himself into the fucking ground because of the face of this. I feel
Yeah.
like Moxley is just like a newer age Ric Flair, because this dude is just going to run until he literally dies in the fucking ring because they're never going to give him a break.
Oh man.
uh it's just so fucking confusing. So when O'Shea says something like that, where he's like, you gotta dress this up because you're trying to get this to the broader, wider audience, you're gonna get more sponsors, you're gonna be able to tour in bigger arenas if arena shows are your goal instead of going to the same place every time. If you're gonna have these house shows or have these dynamite shows or whatever, and you're barely clearing 3,500 people, but then you have everyone on the internet spitting venom to defend something that isn't really defendable,
No.
then you're just turning people off to it. Like I've tried to explain AEW to a few people,
And you can't.
coworkers,
It's too
and it
every shit is too meta. Every match is like some meta explanation. And this is
oh,
their video package. It's Excalibur going, "Oh, and this guy was the CMLL AAA champion, and this is contested under Ring of Honor pure rules, which means no knees or whatever the fuck." Like it's just like a 2 minute as everyone's
and
coming to the ring,
and
and it's
poor
like, bro,
JR just be trying. JR just be trying. Like he's a little man. He just
man.
tries. He tries, and then it's like you have the GOAT announcer, and then you just have him going through the motions, and then everybody on here is just so fucking confused. Like, oh well, they won to the PWG so and so in
Yeah.
2017. Okay, cool. If what else can you tell me? Like you're
Yeah.
pushing the same
What are their
people. You're doing different
vocation?
variations.
Why do they dress like this? What is the meaning behind when they like everything, dude? Like it's just such little things. It's
All these people
frustrating.
get
That's why it's
hurt.
frustrating
Oh
because we
my
shouldn't
God, how
even.
many people get hurt?
Yeah,
Like Jeff
yes,
Hardy, is
dude.
he okay? Is he okay?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I know
He
it's asking Jeff Hardy if he's
broke
okay
his
is a crazy
nose.
thing to ask.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
broke his
asking
nose.
but just this like both of the Hardys have been victim to homie.
To
You know what I
Sammy
mean?
Guevara
And
multiple times, man.
oh my God! And then it's just the stuff. It's like, okay, we're gonna crank up. Oh, WWE's they're crowding in pipe noise. They're piping in crowd noise. Okay, so when we hear Judas all through a run in, we don't know. Like the goalposts just move so much, and I've seen like it turns people off. Like my wife doesn't even want to talk about it anymore. Doesn't even try to get into it anymore because I think she tweeted something once about a match, and people that don't even follow her was in the mentions talking crazy
Yeah.
because who are you to talk about this and all this other stuff? It's
Yeah,
like, is
it's
this how
nuts.
they like that? Sponsors look at that. It's like people and companies, they're looking at your social media, they're looking at your mentions, they're looking at the stuff that's seen and heard, and it's like that's hard to press in a boardroom when you're trying to get a TV deal. Nick Khan just has to walk in there and just snap of a finger, $1 billion deal, bam, 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 bam. It's like, okay, we still don't even know if they're renewing, where they're going to go with any of this. You what O'Shea is saying is the most natural, simple thing in the planet, but they're
Yeah.
taking it as that he wants them
It's
to
good
shut down.
advice, dude. That's
He's
what's so
in TV.
yeah, dude. That's what's so funny, bro. Oh yeah, you mean the guy from Straight Outta Compton that I went and saw in theaters 3 fucking times couldn't impart some knowledge on Tony
Dude's on
Khan.
Star
Like,
Wars. He's
yeah,
in a
dude,
bunch.
come
He's
the
been in
fuck on, man.
Godzilla, a shit ton of movies. He's got other shit dropping. His dad is one of like has become sneakily becoming one of the best like directors like in the business
Oh
itself.
my god.
Like he's surrounded by like he's in the
He's
industry.
only
It's
in
like
good shit too, like Cocaine Bear. Like he's only in shit that's like marketed well, and like I think he had like a show that like O'Shea. I think he had a show that recently got like canceled or something. But that's like I think it was like the pandemic probably had something to do with that. You know what I mean? Or the actors strike. I mean, pardon me, the pandemic,
yeah.
the actors strike. Like people weren't allowed to promote their shows and stuff. And I think he had a show just come out. So that's like the only thing I think I haven't seen of O'Shea's, you know? So it's like what like yeah, he
Yeah.
wouldn't know anything about like Hollywood it up, you know? Like that's great advice coming from a Hollywood actor who's
Yeah.
only in good shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. To me it's crazy. So then Tony Khan responds to O'Shea
Oh,
and
you
he's
know baseball, right? Was that
it's
the tweet? That's the only one I saw. He's just at O'Shea Jackson Jr. You know baseball.
he goes, you might be this is the one I saw right here. I might need to look into it more than but he says at O'Shea Jackson Jr. This is Tony Khan. He says, you might enjoy checking out new experiences plus entire worlds of international graps out there. I think learning about them is fun. All wrestling is awesome. I hope you enjoy whatever you like. Plus, maybe someday you'll be interested in wider circles. And then he posted a GIF of the Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David being like, and you will enjoy yourself. So what do you make of that? So Tony Khan, so basically what Tony Khan's saying here, you might enjoy checking out new experiences outside of WWE is what he's insinuating. Entire worlds of international graps out there. And I'm tired of this bullshit. Like WWE doesn't have the best luchadors in the world. Like WWE doesn't have the best British strong style motherfuckers or the best Gaiju heavyweights or the best cruiserweights. Like just because they're not doing their craziest shit every night doesn't
They're
mean
not doing indie shit.
yeah,
Doesn't mean that
yeah.
yeah.
Like killing
They're wrestling
themselves.
for
Dante
TV. Yeah, they're
Martin.
wrestling for TV. They have to know
Yeah.
time cues. All the like has you ever had anyone ever like pose that or have you ever seen it in a tweet? I'm curious because I asked Gresh this, I asked a bunch of people this. Like when people think that they send you to the performance center because you're wrestling on nationally
In
syndicated
front of
TV,
millions of people.
millions of people on a weekly basis. You need to understand time cues, know
Ugh.
where the camera's at when you're going to breaks, all of that. And you have to still be able to sequence a match. You have to learn
Yes.
scripts before you go out
Yes.
and still remember your
Promos.
match.
Everything, dude.
What the fuck?
What the and they're touching all the time. They're on the road all. This is what I stress too. Like, dude, AEW wrestlers are mostly all part time. They all wrestle like once or twice a month if they don't take fucking indie dates. So it's like, yeah, like if you're Moxley, you might wrestle, 10 times in a month. But it's like, I don't know. Dominic Mysterio went a week. He wrestled. It was like 10 shows on that European tour in like a week or whatever. I don't know. That's what gets you ready for, like you said, TV, time cues, knowing when and where to do things and why. And it's just like I don't care if you're Kenny Omega or you're fucking Roman Reigns. If you're not doing that shit consistently, you don't. I don't know. It's just not there in spades, Um, and yeah, I just feel like Tony shouldn't be responding to good criticism like this and just sort of not accusing, but just saying, O'Shea, like check out different international graps around the world, and it's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. They have all that in WWE, dude. To me, that's just a crazy notion. So I want to say Tony responded one more time to that, but I'm
Let's see
actually
if you can find it. Can see if you can find it. My thing is he's treating everything like he's treating him like he was being an op about it. Because don't get me wrong, he's
yes,
gotten good criticism, but it's came from from places and people that have been labeled by the IWC to be discreditable. Like, don't get me wrong. Like when Conan does certain shit, like I don't agree with everything that fucking Disco says. I feel like it's weird that Conan's the most objective out of like everything that goes on there. But even sometimes Disco will like trip and fall and say something that like makes sense, or he'll make a valid point. It's just the way he delivers it is just like a complete jack off, so it doesn't come across. Or his like when Bischoff says something, I think it's hilarious
yeah,
that anybody criticizes Bischoff because he like Bischoff has done. Say what you want about Eric Bischoff, he's the only person to bring Vince to his knees
yeah, dude,
and
yes.
run shit and do anything, and he's also fucked it up. He did it at WCW,
He's
and
the
then he did
best
it
guy to
again at
listen to.
TNA. He
Yeah.
is he understands TV deals because he was a TV guy before he like ventured into the wrestling
Yeah,
thing.
before
Like,
and after. Like after wrestling, dude, he produced a bunch of stuff for TV. Like
exactly. So
yeah,
like, why are you
he gets
arguing
it.
with this? Because now you're doing like it's flipping. That's why the decline is happening. Because I noticed when I watched it, because I stopped even like tapping in because I noticed that it was doing like TNA like 09 to like 12
Yeah.
TNA like era, or like even like 2000 like 2001 WCW, where it's just none of the storylines make any sense. They flip everything on the whim. It's the same people.
Yeah.
The matches are just crazy for no reason.
I know.
It's just what is oh my
I
what is
love
going
I
on?
love crazy matches, but it's like just save them for the fucking pay-per-views and then just tell me all the stories during the shows. Like it's a real simple thing we're
Don't blow
doing
your
here,
load
right?
early. That's
6 to
crazy.
8
That's
minute
crazy.
matches, your main event can go 12 to 25 fucking minutes, and then just fucking tell us stories like TNA does it. Oh, fuck, can't you figure this out? It's so simple.
How many false finishes can you have on
That's
every
what I
in
mean.
every
Then
match
they
on
just
a
don't
whole?
mean shit. Then they don't mean shit. Like it's truly like it's truly just like a tried and true formula for like 100+ years that Tony Khan
He's
just
treating
is
it
like,
like a
nope.
call, like he's playing call on 2K. That's
Yeah,
basically what
like
it is.
he doesn't get that. Like the Young Bucks would be way more over if like they were just schmarmy pricks, or they were just like the overly
Themselves.
babyface guys who did their crazy ass matches in the main event or just on the pay-per-view, and then you just kind of had them have short, like, don't have them do every spot, every indie spot, because these guys were used to just doing like indie dates. So now when you do all those crazy fucking spots every show, you know what I mean, dude? It just kills it for
They don't
everyone.
have
And
them
then
structured in
Edge and
Japan.
Christian go in there, and they have a match with 8,000 rest holds, and fucking they're having a straight WWE match. And then everyone's like, "Man, this is fire. This is flame." And it's like, yeah, because they're having a match with psychology and pacing, and they're not flipping off shit and going crazy. Like they're just like, don't you
They have
get
the
it?
resumes
Please,
for
for
it
the
too,
love of
though.
God.
Well, they have the resumes for it too. People are going to be more mindful when it's somebody that comes in with the credibility and stuff that they grew up on. I
Mm.
don't understand why everybody is so, they act like so many fucking scorned lovers. I know for a period of time WWE was it, and that's all that was it. But keep in mind, you were a wrestling fan until something else came, and then you just gravitated to that, like the resentment for something you still watched and you still took care, like you still cared for it, because when those people left and came to AEW, you bigged it up as if this was this big giant step. It's just moving of the goalposts. It's the lack of structure, and it's just crazy. And maybe he's dealing with too much, and you've seen it with the stuff that was going on in the backstage and with every, with all the craziness going on backstage, and then it goes in through the matches, and it's all these unhappy talents. It's like the grass isn't always greener. And
No.
I don't get me wrong, nobody wants them to fail. We want them to get better, but it's
Yeah,
just
that's why people are critical, man. The people who are critical care, like your haters are closer to your fans than, you know what I mean, than like some of your fucking
a hater
fans
is going
are,
to keep it real with you than a lot of your friends will,
Yeah,
because
man, because they'll tell
they'll
you
tell you
like
the
the
objective
thing
truth.
because they're trying to like hurt you or like be smarter than you. So they're gonna try and tell you the thing that, you know, like is like you wouldn't maybe even think of. So I don't know. You got to find, even if it's some from some fucking idiot, you can still. I feel like everyone and everything and every experience in life, there's positives to extrapolate along with negatives. But O'Shea Jackson Jr. tweets out in response. He just says, "Everything I said was only because I want to see AEW grow. TK, God bless." And then he also responded again, O'Shea. So Tony didn't respond to that, but O'Shea then quote tweeted him again and said, "Also, Tony, while I have your attention, me and a whole lot of other people think you should check out the work of Tiger Style Pro." Shout out fucking O'Shea for putting over Tiger Style Pro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.